Hello and welcome to your Advanced Java Programming course, and in this video I'm going to give you my answer to section 5's project. Now as you can see, I've created my project already, object processing and the class read. And of course once I've finished creating my project, I place the two text files into the projects folder. Final, which contains the raw data that we need to process, and final result, which we're going to write our results to. Now with that out of the way, we begin coding. We're going to start in the read class. We're first going to import the various packages we need because we're going to be reading and writing to file. So we need to import the utilities package, import java.util.star semicolon. And then we need to import the IO package .io.star semicolon. Now that we have finished importing the packages we need to create our private variables that we're going to use throughout the class. We're going to be using a count variable, int count equals 0, to keep track of the places in the array, and the array private string arr square brackets equals new string. And once again, we don't know for sure how many results can be in a text file, so we take a large general number such as 50. And then I'm going to add the two string variables mentioned in the previous video that the oldest person will go into, oldest equals, and leave it blank, and the final results, where all the finished data will be placed into, results equals, and also blank. Now that we have created our private variables, let's create our first method, and it's going to be the main method. You can also use a void method in this place, but I prefer to get the first method done and out of the way the moment you create your object, and to do that you make it a main method. Instead of using public void read, you just call it public read, the name of the class, public read, and a string for the file name that the user is going to input. Now that we have done that, I'm going to create a try and catch statement that will contain the scanner that reads the text file final.txt. So try, open up brackets. Before I place my code in, I'm going to create the catch, file not found exception e, and inside a small message saying could not find file. It does show an error, but that goes away the moment we create the scanner. So let's do that. Scanner sc file equals new scanner, new file, file name, because we want the user's file, and as you can see the error is gone and we now have our scanner. Now we're going to start taking lines from the text file and placing it into the array. So we create a while loop, while scfile.hasNext. Open up our brackets, and now we start taking the values and putting them into the array. arr count, which will start at 0, which is correct because arrays number place system starts at 0. scfile.nextLine. We want the entire line placed inside the array. Count ++, so that way the next value will be added will be in the array place number 1. And well, now that we've finished using our file scanner, we close it. scfile.close. And that is our first method. Now we need to create our second method. This is the find oldest method that we're going to be using. So I'm going to call it public void find old. Now this method is going to be used to scan through the array and find the oldest one. So we're going to have to use an if statement and compare ages. So let's create a base age to start with. Int old equals 0. And now let's create our for loop. For int I equals 0. I is less than count I plus plus. This should run through the array for us. Now we create a scanner. Scanner SELAN equals new scanner, and let's just give it the value of array number R, which will start at 0, which is correct, and we need to use the delimiter hashtag, because as we saw in our file, if we go back to final.txt, everything is being separated by a hashtag. So we need to change the delimiter from white space to hashtag, which we have just done. Close with a semicolon. Now let's create a temporary variable. String temp equals SELAN dot next plus space plus SELAN dot next. This should get the name and surname of the oldest person in the array. And next we create an integer variable, int num equals SELAN dot next int to get the age. Close with a semicolon. And now we've finished using our scanner, so SELAN dot close brackets semicolon. And now for the if statement for comparing the age num to our base age old. So if num is greater than old. And this is where we use our private variable oldest. First we're going to change the old to num, since that is the new value. Next we're going to take the oldest and change its value from blank to the temporary variable we created, plus the age, which is now old, plus a small message saying that this is the oldest person, is the oldest. Close with a semicolon. And that is our second method out of the way, the findOld method. And now for our third method, the process method, which will process through the rest of the array and organize all the results into two initials and an age, organized into neat columns. So public void process. Now we use a for loop just like before and another scanner. For int r equals 0, I is less than count I plus plus, and a scanner SELAN equals new scanner ARR I dot use delimiter hashtag. And now we're going to take the results, process them, and place them into the results variable. So results equals results, because we want the previous ones as well. If we do not include this line, it won't include our new information or our old. So results equals results plus SELAN dot next. That should get us the first name, but we only need the initials, so dot char at 0 plus and full stop, and let's put a tab in between each of these values, plus SELAN dot next dot char at. This should get us our surname, so another 0 to get that initial, plus full stop backslash t to get a tab. And now we need to add the age, plus SELAN dot next int brackets plus, and now we need to add a fresh new line, so it's backslash r backslash n, close with a semicolon. And now we finished using the scanner, so SELAN dot close. And that should run through the entire array, adding more and more values to the results variable. And now we create our final method, the method that prints the process results to finalresult.txt, which as you can see is blank, so it needs data. We create our print to file method as follows: public void print to file. Print to file would be a good name for our method. Now we create a try and catch statement just like before. But this time, instead of file not found exception, our catch will be IO exception. So IO exception E, and inside a message saying could not write to file. It's better to have a different error message than the one we used at the beginning. This way we can know where our error is. If we had the same one, we don't know if the error is in finding the file or writing to the file. And as before, it has an error message here, but that'll go away once we've created our print writer. Print writer out file equals new print writer, new file writer, and inside we want to print to the final result.txt, final result.txt, close with a semicolon. And now we need to outfile dot print line oldest. As stated in the previous video, we must print the oldest first, and then 2 blank lines in between, so \r \n \r \n plus results. And now that we've finished using the print writer, we of course have to close it. Outfile.close and add a semicolon. And now we go back to our main program and we add the code necessary to call our read object and use its methods. We first ask the user to enter in a file name, and to do that we'll need the swing packages. So import javax.swing.star, and now back to our code. String name equals JOption pane.show input dialog. Inside enter name of text file, close with a semicolon. And now we call our object read, let's call it test for now. Test equals new read, and we plug in our variable name. No errors, so that means it has now recognized our object. You start using our methods. Test.findOld is the first. Test.process is the second. And finally test.print2file. And that is our entire main program, 5 lines of code. We now run the program, type in the name of the text file, which is final.txt, click OK, and it says build successful after 8 seconds. Let's check our projects folder, open up finals, and yep, final result.txt has our organized data. It has the oldest name as well. Frank Time 99 is the oldest, and everything has been organized into neat columns and their initials. And if we look over here, here's FT99, Frank Time. Just like I mentioned in the previous video, we have to include the oldest. And this is our project. We have now finished the project for section 5. If your program has the same amount or less lines of code than mine, then congratulations, you have completed your course in advanced Java programming. In the next video, I'll conclude what we have learned throughout this course.